Good evening. Welcome to Current Affairs. Today, I would like to discuss with you with respect to the concept of surrogacy. And the woman who involved in this is called surrogate. So, this is in fact under very big discussion in India for quite a long period of time. The one section of the society says that Indian women are being exploited with this, especially the poor women who are present in India, they are being exploited on the name of surrogacy. So this is the place where the concept of ethical issues are coming into picture. This is the place where the human rights violations are also coming into picture. That is the reason why for quite long period of time there is a very high level discussion on this surrogacy. And finally, the group of ministers, that is called GOM, group of ministers, headed by Ms. Sushma Swaraj, has finalized certain things with respect to the surrogacy in India. So once the changes have been made, once the new law comes into picture, it becomes very difficult for the people so to go for the concept of surrogacy in India. I am not saying that it has been completely banned. No, this is not going to be banned completely. So these are the situations that may demand, which require the concept of surrogacy. That is the reason why, under certain exceptional cases only, the surrogacy will be accepted in India. Mainly, what is happening, the biggest criticism is that India became a very, very big level destination, rather very attractive destination with respect to the concept of surrogacy. The reason is that, number one, the people who are present in India, majority of them are poor, and those people, the women, so they are coming forward to involve in the concept of this surrogacy. Clear? But what exactly is this surrogacy? So that is what I'm going to discuss with you now. So when you use the concept of surrogacy, a woman is agreeing, to carry the pregnancy. A woman is agreeing to carry the pregnancy of some other woman. Meaning, instead of the pregnancy, the fetus to be developed in the actual mother's womb, somebody's in fetus is developing in some other woman's womb, right? So that so many medical issues will come into picture here. That particular woman may not be in a position to conceive, and she may not be in a position to deliver the baby. That is the reason why, so they are taking the support of some other woman. Clear? So this is called the surrogacy. Clear? Meaning one woman's this the fetus is being developed in the womb of a woman, and that particular woman may not be the so-called the biological mother of the child who is going to take birth. Meaning a woman is carrying the fetus, and after the delivery, that woman has to relinquish the authority over the child, and the child has to be handed over to the agreed parties. Meaning that particular party, they are going with an agreement to this woman, so that the woman will be carrying the fetus, and everything, the medical expenses, that will be taken care by those parties. And finally, once the delivery is done, the baby has to be handed over to the agreed parties. This is called surrogacy, and the woman who is involved in this one is called a surrogate. Am I clear? Of course, there are so many methods in the concept of the so-called the surrogacy. I'll show you that. I'll open the document and let me show you certain points. Then I would like to have a discussion with you. Please look at this. Surrogacy means it's a method of carrying pregnancy of intended parents. And there are, of course, various types of surrogacy. You can have a look at this. Gestational surrogacy, traditional surrogacy. Sometimes, you talk about the altruistic surrogacy that is not there on the screen. Sometimes you will come across with the commercial surrogacy. But what exactly is the gestational surrogacy? Right? Now let's go ahead. You just have a look at the word gestational surrogacy. Here in this case, what is happening is that the the woman who is considered to be a surrogate, she is only a carrier, and that particular woman is not genetically or biologically related to the child. So, right, whatever the fetus that is developing in the womb of a woman, that woman is not biologically related to the so-called the fetus. So obviously what is happening here, the surrogate is implanted with an embryo that is not belong to her. The embryo does not belong to her. So the embryo, so what exactly happens in this particular case is that, I'll just come onto the screen. So in this particular case, what exactly happens is that the embryo will be formed outside, not in the so-called the womb of the surrogate, right? Right, in vitro fertilization, right? So many methods are there that should happen, this at the clinical level, and the sperm and the egg that will be combined, and embryo will be formed, and that embryo will be implanted in the womb of the surrogate. Clear? So obviously what is happening genetically, right? And this particular woman is not related to the child. Clear? So there is no genetical concept is coming into picture, and this is called gestational surrogacy. Am I clear? Next one is the traditional surrogacy. Otherwise it is also called natural, otherwise it is also called straight surrogacy. In this particular case, what is happening is that the surrogate, right, the woman I'm talking about, don't forget the word surrogate, is pregnant with her own biological child. The surrogate is pregnant with her own biological child, but the child was the child was conceived with the intention of relinquishing the child to be raised by the other biological fathers. In this case, what is happening? The, the woman is getting conceived either via sexual intercourse or through artificial insemination by using the fresh sperm or frozen sperm. So whatever may be the method that is coming into the picture, that particular method is called traditional surrogacy or the so-called the natural surrogacy. So various methods are there. But whatever may be the method, India decided to put restrictions on this. That's the reason why the group of ministers, the so-called GOM, it has recommended certain things because of the various concepts are coming into the picture. Now, I'll show you all the points one after the others. And it is one of the very, very, very important social issues in India. Can Indian women be used just like that? Sometimes here, you know this what is called altruistic surrogacy will come into picture. Commercial surrogacy will come into picture. Commercial surrogacy means a woman is accepting to bear a fetus which that does not belong to her, but her interest is to make it commercial. Sorry. Yeah, her interest is to make it commercial, meaning she wants to take the money. That if that intention of the money is coming into picture, that is called commercial surrogacy. Generally, what will happen is that in the altruistic surrogacy, what exactly happens is that a woman will come forward voluntarily on the request that is made by the parents, the partners. So these are the wife and husband who will come and request a woman. And in fact, see here, who is this woman? Where does she stay? It is very difficult for to find out. That is the reason why this responsibility is also taken care by the clinics that are present in India. They are called the fertility clinics. Here, you look at India, large number of fertility clinics are present there. Clear? And the recent estimation is that this particular business has the turnover of 3,000 crores every year. Look at this. That is the reason why India is considered to be a very, very, very large destination for this. Let me tell you one point. Let me have some water. I'll tell you. In other countries also it is happening. But the foreigners are also coming to India. Why? So you can do the same thing in your own country. But when it comes to India, in India, it is very, very, very cheap when compared to others. Clearly, the recent estimates are saying that in UK, example, in UK, it also can be done. But the couple from UK, they are preferring to India, they are preferring to come to India and finding out Indian women. Clear? So maybe altruistic surrogacy or commercial, whatever you talk here. And the total cost from starting to the end in the sense, after delivery of the baby, they will take the baby and they will fly off. They'll fly off and they'll go back to their own country. So starting from the beginning till the end, whatever the cost, including flight tickets for both the partners, including flight tickets, whatever the cost that is being incurred, it is just one third of the cost that is being incurred in UK. This is what is happening. So meaning it's a very, very cheap one, and that cheaper one is it's going for 3,000 crores of business every year. Every year that's what happening. So now, so this is the time that you need to put an end. So the basic concept is that why Indian women must be exploited like this. Because majority of the Indian women are poor, can you exploit them just like that? That's the reason why for quite a long period of time, the discussions are being held and finally a decision has been taken by the so-called the government. Clear? And once it comes to the implementation, surrogacy is no more easy in India. But at the end of the discussion, I'll tell you whether it is going to be a successful one or a failure one, I am going to tell you. Right? So when it comes to India, organ donation restricted. Right? But is it happening or not? Sex determination test, fetal sex determination test, which is considered to be very, very dangerous because this is going to create the discrimination. India has a law that fetal test, sex determination test should not be done, but is it stopping? Is it getting stopped? Obviously, no. So, in these two areas, when it comes to the implementation, right, I can say India is a failure. So, when it comes to the surrogacy, is it more dangerous than the female infanticide? Right? So, that is the reason why. So, there are certain doubts with respect to the proper implementation of this. And hopefully, once it becomes a reality, the government should make all the measures, take all the measures so that it will be implemented properly. And surrogacy, once it is done, if it is going to be done, so that should be done only on the proper reasons, not to facilitate the foreign people to come and go for it. And this is also not permitted for the single parent. Clear? And this is also not acceptable even for the transgenders. So many are there. I'll open the document and I will share that information with you. You may please have a look at the document. India is a main destination for surrogacy. Look at this. Indian surrogates have been increasingly popular because of the relatively low cost. Indian clinics are at the same time becoming more competitive in nature. So meaning they're trying to reduce the prices. Look at this, not just in pricing, but in the hiring and retention of the Indian females as surrogates. Look at this, what is happening? They are hiring the clinics I am talking about. They are hiring the Indian women and they are retaining the Indian women, right, for as the surrogates. So obviously what happens, so right, if anybody comes for this particular process, the women are being made ready by the clinics itself. So the job of the partners who are coming for the surrogacy, right, the job is being made easy. And of course, they need to pay the money, and whatever the money they are paying compared to their country's money, it is very, very, very cheaper. Look at this. Surrogacy in India is of low cost and the laws are also flexible. What happened? In the year 2008, the Supreme Court of India, in Manji's case, that is a Japanese baby, has held that commercial surrogacy is permitted in India. That has again increased the international confidence in going in for surrogacy in India. Booming, right? This industry has boomed. But as of 2014, a surrogacy ban was placed on homosexual couples and single parents. Clear? Now, look at this. So, what are the ethical issues that are coming into picture? There is an exploitation of women. Yes. There is a commodification. Agreed. To what extent is it right for society to permit women to make contracts about the use of their bodies? India is a land of cultures. India is a land of values. India is a land of ethics. Then, so whether we can permit our women for going for such contracts? Clear? So this is the question that is related to the ethical issues. Is this a violation of the human rights of women? Is this like contract employment? What does motherhood mean? Is it just carrying the fetus? Is it just carrying the fetus and handing it over to somebody? And what will happen to this woman psychologically? What will happen to this woman after the baby is delivered and the baby has been handed over to the so-called agreed parties? Will there be any psychological effect on the woman or not? Definitely it will be there. The women are delicate, especially Indian women are so sensitive. So many issues will crop up, and the psychological pressure and pain will be there on the woman. This is one of the bigger issues, right? Once again, I'm opening the document. Look at this. What if the surrogate wants to abort? So in India, what is happening? Abortion laws. Abortion is not permitted. Abortion is permitted only under the extreme conditions. Under the extreme conditions, it is not at all easy now. But if the surrogate wants to go for abort, what will happen? Should she be permitted or not? She knows that the child, the fetus that is present in her womb is not going to be with her. She doesn't want this. Is it not an ethical issue? Yes, it's an ethical issue. Then who will give answers for this? That's the reason why restrictions must be imposed. Tell this here, whenever we are taking the decisions, it is not just taking the decisions just like that. Decisions will be taken by looking at our traditions, values, cultures, ethos and eidos that are present in the country, in our society. Everything has to be taken into consideration. That's the reason why every issue has to be looked at from various angles, right? And being the civil servants, future civil servants, my dear close friends, you need to look at each and every issue from various angles. Clear? So don't take anything personal and don't try to look at an object only from one angle, right? If you're looking at an issue from one angle, so you can see only that angle. So that is not a complete looking at the issue, because you are going to be a civil servant, right? So somebody wants to be so traditional, somebody wants to be so narrow-minded, right? And if you want to look at the issue like that, that's a different thing. But since you are preparing for the civil service examination and you are going to be the administrators at the highest level, you need to have the capacity to look at the things from various angles, and you need to understand the problem from various angles. Then it will become easy for you to come out with a solution to address that issue. So getting it? Very, 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 very important. Next, not just this, my dear close friends, any issue and every issue. Any issue and every issue. So whenever you are looking at the issue, the caste, creed, sex, place of birth, nothing should come into the picture. And basically, the humanity has to come into the picture, first of all. Now, once again, let me open this. Look at this. What is the relationship between genetic motherhood, gestational motherhood, and social motherhood? Should a child born via surrogacy have the right to know the identity of any or all of the people who are involved in that child's conception and delivery? Obviously, the child does not know all these things. Maybe after the child becomes, this, uh, after he grown up or she grows up, they'll come to know that he has been or she has been taken birth through a method of surrogacy, and the child wants to know who are all the people involved in this. Should it be permitted? Should it be permitted? So these are all the questions that need to be answered. Let's look at this latest developments in India. India on surrogacy regulation bill aims to end the exploitation of poor men. This is the basic idea, right? Indian women should not be exploited. And GOM, please look at this. It is called, Group of Ministers. It was headed by Miss Sushma Swaraj, right? Must be knowing this particular lady. Very important person in, the government of India. Very active, very dynamic, and known for taking the very, very quick decisions, right? And also known for taking the very, very swift actions. Wonderful. Next, India unveiled a draft on August 24th, 2016 to ban commercial surrogacy. The government is deciding to block foreigners, people of Indian origin, single parents, and homosexuals from having children through the rent a womb service. Rent a womb means surrogacy. Clear, you need to remember this. Foreigners, PIOs, people of Indian origin, single parents, and homosexuals. They will not be permitted. Look at this. We don't recognize live-in relationships, and this is against our ethos. In fact, whatever the statement you have seen that is highlighted on the screen, that statement is given by, the our External Affairs Minister, Ms. Sushma Swaraj. Look at this note I have given. The cost of this industry in India is 300 crores. Look at this. Only infertile couple who have been married for at least 5 years can seek a surrogate, and who must be a close relatives. Important one, very, very important one. The new law is going to say that this is applicable only for those couple who are infertile and they should have been married for at least 5 years. Then they can seek surrogate, and that surrogate person, the woman, should be one of their close relatives. What do you mean by this? Close relatives could include a sister or a sister-in-law or daughter-in-law. Clear? Infertility specialists were critical of the law, saying that it could lead to an illegal surrogacy industry. Definitely that will happen. The process of surrogacy is achieved through in vitro fertilization, commonly called IVF, for your information. In a lab where eggs harvested from a woman are fused with the sperm from a man, healthy embryos are transferred to a surrogate mother who is paid in advance. Besides it, a monthly stipend until the birth of the baby is also given, and the child is then handed over to the couple who commissioned the birth. This is what exactly is happening in India. Right? Look at this. Look at this. Sushma Swaraj said that only altruistic surrogacy, where the expecting parents pay for the medical procedure and not the surrogate mothers. Clear? It is allowed. Single women will not be allowed to become surrogate mothers. Another important point, right? Single women will not be allowed to become surrogate mothers. And this is here, Sushma Swaraj has commented on this. Shah Rukh Khan, right? It has become a culture among celebrities. For them, getting a child through surrogacy has become a fashion, a trend, and not a necessity. Clear? I have given at the end Sushma Swaraj on Shah Rukh Khan, right? Now, so now the point is that, so what I would like to say is this. So now we need to think this. India has failed administer on the ban on organ donation and also sex determination test. For both the laws are present in India. For both the laws are present in India, but India has failed on this. When India has failed on these two important issues, can we think that India will be successful in implementing properly the new surrogacy laws? So that's what you need to think. Hopefully, because we are positive, we need to protect our women under these new laws. And obviously, India has the capacity to implement the laws thoroughly and perfectly. Obviously, because of the some greedy people, corrupt people, some of the policies and the laws are not being implemented properly in India. That's the reason why the corruption has to be eradicated. Corruption has to be eradicated from the country. Of course, it is not so easy as we are speaking here, because the concept of corruption has deeply rooted into the whole system, and it takes a very very long period of time for eradicating this corruption completely. This is the reason why the ethics and values and integrity must be uh, imbibed into the whole system. So only when that's all is possible through the highest and qualitative education. Until and unless these ethics, values, norms, ethos, and ethos will not be, this are given to the children since beginning, since their childhood. After they become adults, it's very difficult to train them. That is the reason why the whole education system has to be changed. Change in the sense, more importance must be given to the concept of ethics, right? Maybe over a period of time, maybe 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years, if we start now, the change may come into the picture. Clear? And what are the evils that are present in the Indian system? They are considered to be very very wrong, very very wrong and harmful to the whole society. That is the reason why entire India, it is not just speaking, it is not just speaking, are the speeches that are given by our political leaders, are some other people on the dash, but that must come into practice. If it is done, if it is done starting from the highest level in the country, slowly if it is coming down to the lowest level, over a period of time, it is definitely going to happen. Whatever the laws that are being made in India, definitely they will be strengthening Indian democratic system, right? And hopefully everything is going to be fine for India. And with respect to surrogacy laws, yes, right, so we are hopeful that they are going to be implemented thoroughly and properly. That's about the surrogacy, and that's all for the day. And I'll see you in the next class. Till then, I wish you all a very 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 good luck, and have a wonderful wonderful weekend. So thank you so much for being with me this evening. Take very good care of yourself. Thank you.